All right, Kansas City. I said I was done, but I had a very special guest, a gentleman that I got a chance to watch, and I'm actually a couple years older than he is, but I got a chance. Hold on, man. Nope, a couple older. He's a couple years older than me because he graduated before I did. He went to the University of Auburn. Now, if you know football, you know a gentleman right here, Takeo Spikes, former NFL linebacker,
Yes,
high
sir.
school All-American, went to Auburn. His best game, his best game came in a loss when he was honored as the MVP, losing in the SEC championship game,
Can you
30 to
believe
20.
that?
Yeah, I could, because you were the best player in that game.
But I've never seen a defensive player get MVP and you lose a game.
I think it happened. No, no, no. I was thinking about the
Somebody
Super
told me.
Bowl.
Somebody told me this has happened maybe like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Out of, so it's good to be in the elite class. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hand getting at.
Thank you so very much for joining me this week. I know getting a chance to meet you and trying to get you over here. I know you're busy, man, so I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
As a defensive player, what are you looking for? Is there a particular X factor in Sunday's game between the Chiefs and the Eagles that you're looking forward to seeing?
I think it's just a line of scrimmage. Anytime you look at football, you just want to see who is dominating the line of scrimmage, and like clearly, Philly I think holds that edge on both sides of the ball. Offensive line, you look at Jason Kelsey, how him and his offensive line they create positive yards. Like they win at least 2-3 yards on the opposite side of the end. And then defensively, you look at the Eagles' defensive line. What, 4 guys with 10 plus sacks or more?
Yeah.
And then you got Fletcher Cox pulling up the rear with 8? So listen, I don't know. You don't have enough linemen. You need all pro linemen to be able to block all of them. Now the neutralizer to this, you have Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say, he is the equalizer.
Listen, he's more than an equalizer. Like he is that dude. So I'm looking forward to the game. I see that I look at the spread and I see what it is. And it's like, man, if I was a betting dude, I wouldn't bet on this game.
Stay away from it. Huh?
Yeah, stay away from it, man, because you just don't know. And this has been a while since
and that's
we
a beautiful
had
thing too, though.
the
That's a
top
good
2
thing.
teams that's representing the AFC and NFC at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you got the number 1 ranked offense, number 1 ranked defense. Now, you played in Philadelphia for a year. I'm curious, how would you, if you were playing in the game Sunday, how would you defend Patrick Mahomes?
Well, number one, we call it gotta get after that ass. Get after him, make him move. I think when Kansas City loses, it's typically because he really doesn't have time to throw. I go back to the Super Bowl when they played against Tampa. I remember that vividly. And then number 2, you have to contain. And listen, this is easy what I'm about to say. But Travis Kelce, bro, like I was talking with Shannon Sharp on my podcast show, Behind the Mask. And Shannon said, Travis will probably go down as the greatest tight end in the history of the game. Just what he's been able to do in such a short period of time, and he's consistent. And it also helps with him and Mahomes there too.
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to be a great game, man.
So, do you see it as a blowout? I mean,
No.
who are you predicting to win, and what's your score?
I'm going with Philly. I'm going with Philly, and I think it might be like a 2-point game, 2-3-point game. Like coming
that's
down
why you want to stay away from the point spread right there.
Yeah, that's what scares me about it because, he has a high ankle sprain, but hell, if he went out there and did what he did in the championship game, what else? And he had 2 weeks to even become more healthier.
But I had a question for you. I know you talk about the Eagles defense, but you've seen what the Chiefs defense has been able to do this season, and especially in the last few games in the playoffs. I mean, against Joe Burrow, had 5 sacks, 2 interceptions. I mean, that's that ain't no slouch either.
No, it's not. It's not. And I'm gonna tell you one guy who really don't get a lot of credit when you talk about Kansas City's defense is their defensive coordinator.
He gets credit for me, but I was actually going to bring his name up because I'm thinking we saw what he did in 2007, against the Patriots in that Super Bowl.
Spags, baby.
Yeah, and I've told Spags, especially last couple weeks, that he's called. I thought the defense won that game for the Chiefs against Jags. When Mahomes got the high ankle sprain, and then the following week, I thought he had to have a hell of a game plan and a hell of a call because they had lost 3 games in a row to the Bengals, and you have the whole mindset. Mentally, you don't want them coming in again. You get 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and it's a 2020 ball game towards them again. That's something that you have to be concerned with. So I think that this is a game for Spags. Because one of the things that I know he talked about he wants to be head coach again. I always say, especially with players who are going to be free agents, hey, your last game is, you putting the stuff on film. You putting the stuff on tape.
Absolutely.
So I think that if Spags wants to be head coach again, the last game people are going to remember the Super Bowl game.
No question.
So I think Spags can dial up something like he did against the Patriots, and I think he can do that in this game.
Big play Spags. That's what I call him. That's what I've always known him to be. Coming from under the tree of the late, great Jim Johnson.
Yep.
And, it's not too many coordinators. I played for some of the greatest ones that ever coached in this game. Dick LeBeau.
Yeah.
Like, he was one of my all-time favorites. And you don't see too many who are able to adjust. They don't predict game plans off of personnel. They predict game plans off of what the formation may look like. And it's a beauty to that because sometimes you get so tied up into looking at the personnel per se.
Yeah.
To where you really forget about what it looks like if you didn't know this guy had this number, what this guy number has here. And you started playing concepts. And I think that's what Spags does so well. Like, he does it very well. And so when I look at this game, if there's any type of tendency that they may show, meaning the Eagles, he's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And clearly we'll start to see that struggle side of what Philly will struggle on, and we'll recognize it.
One of the things that Spags, to his credit, and he has had to grow in doing this, because the first time a rookie's ever started for him was Juan Thornhill the year that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. But up until then, Spags was not known for having young players start, play a lot and start in the system. And hell, this year, you essentially had like 6 rookies contribute on the defense side of football, especially in the defensive back. You had Trent McDuffie starting. You had Brian Cook, Joshua Williams, and I can't think of the other kid right off the bat, but Watson, Justin Watson. So you had 4 rookies in that defensive backfield. And then you add in George Karlaftis and Leo Chanel on the rookies. Got 6 rookies contributing to the team's success in this year. I mean, and I think that says a lot about Spags and his maturation from coaching. Even though he's won a couple of Super Bowls.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, just to reiterate what you're saying, Spags, it was a point in time I don't know. I can't say he didn't trust young players, but we know what we saw. We didn't see young players. And so to be able to see them putting that time in, especially from the championship game, and making plays, not just like holding on, they making plays.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to the attention to detail. That's a testament to guys willing to stay and put in the extra time because they realize how important it is at such a young age, because it's very easy to get caught up inside of the lifestyle with the lights, everything that come along with it. But they recognize they're at a point in their career to where we can't get this time period back, so let's take advantage of it.
Takeo Spikes, former NFL linebacker. Let people know what you got going on and where they can find what you're doing, as well as if you're on social media, give that out.
Well, D, look, I got the Behind the Mask, hoodie on right now.
That's
the name of my podcast show. Thank you. And myself, Tuton Reyes. Shout out to Tuton. He's about to walk by in a minute. But 2 NFL vets, we came together and created a safe place or a safe haven for other athletes to come down and share their story and become vulnerable. Because at the end of the day, everybody has a mask on, including yourself, people in different fields.
Yep.
But how can you become vulnerable and be able to talk about some of the things that are true to your heart? But then also just share some insight on some untold stories that I'm pretty sure you heard a lot of them sitting inside a Kansas City locker room that you can't even go back and say.
Well, no. I ain't got to say because we talk about it at the barbershop.
Yeah, at the barbershop. So we created a place like that to where we talk about things, business, fatherhood, relationships, just simply easy locker room talk to where we can just converse amongst each other and know that we articulating our story and we're the author of our own autobiography.
Nice, nice. Are you on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at the BTM Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and then also on YouTube. Everybody, make sure you check us out on YouTube at the BTM Podcast.
Appreciate it very much. Takeo Spikes, my man.
Thanks, bro.
Safe travels back to you. And, of
Yeah.
course, Chiefs will win on Sunday. Don't disregard what the man just
get
said.
this guy there, man. He ain't coming back.
And we'll be back next year. I'll have him
He
back
got
on
an
the show
Eagles
next year.
He got an Eagles t-shirt.
You got
They
They ain't got. We'll be back after this timeout.